Welcome back to the channel, Biscuits. So as part of our holiday questions from Instagram, I have been getting a lot of questions about breastfeeding while pregnant. So all you biscuits that have been following around for a while, which I know is most of you, know that I am a big supporter of natural, full-term weaning process because, you know, we're mammals, we're meant to breastfeed, and it's wholesome and beautiful and wonderful, and I hope that all of us mamas can contribute to normalizing it and desexualizing this concept that breastfeeding is somehow, you know, a naughty, risque thing. It is not. It is the most wholesome, lovely, God-given gift we have of this beautiful nutrition and bonding and love and amazing antibodies during cold and flu season. It's incredible. Breast milk is awesome sauce. Literally, it's awesome sauce. So I am 25 weeks pregnant, and I'm still breastfeeding my just now turned 6-year-old a teensy bit in the morning. He just has a little sip. He's almost...
I drink a lot.
He says he drinks a lot.
I even drink at different times. I drink
true.
at night too.
That's true.
I drink at different times, you know.
It's true. He gets very defensive when people bring up the W word. Mainly just morning milkies. And definitely... I've had nursing aversions, and I've talked about this in a bunch of my videos. I've had nursing aversions since he hit about 2 maybe, and they've been severe. Like, I have never been somebody that feels super physically comfortable breastfeeding. Careful, my love. I just have very sensitive chest, and, you know, okay, sweetie, you got to scoot from there. You can't crawl into the camera and try to eat it. Thank you. So, it's never been, I know a lot of people are like, moms just breastfeed past, like, 3 months for their own joy. Have you ever breastfed a child? It's not like this feels so good and relaxing. It's like spa time. I'll just keep doing it for years. No, that's not why we breastfeed. It's hard to take those people seriously when they say that and not laugh, because you don't want to ridicule somebody for not knowing, right? There's a ton of breastfeeding that I have learned over breastfeeding for the last 6 years straight that I had no idea about, and I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't know this, like, about my own body. It's crazy. Yeah, but the pregnancy aversion to breastfeeding is a real thing. My nipples are definitely way, way more sensitive to having somebody nurse on them. And, you know, for the last 4 years, I've been having varying degrees of up to pretty severe nursing aversion anyway. And now it's like, you know, I've really had to be okay. There are some times I had a big dip last week in my vitamin count. Like I just got severely vitamin deficient because I've had such a hard time holding down food and water, and I just got super vitamin deficient. So I had to spend the whole week just pumping in a ton of vitamins, which I'm hoping is helping. I'm going to talk to my midwife again, and we'll recheck. And that made it really difficult, almost impossible to nurse. And so I was okay stepping away and being like, you know, here's a minute of this kid, but part of it, and part of, for me, the breastfeeding journey when you're breastfeeding with an older child is you are teaching them about bodily autonomy and that it is a give and take relationship. You know, you aren't a 1-month-old baby that desperately needs this milk, right? You can wait, you can make sure that mama's okay too. And I think that it teaches children empathy and understanding that their parents are people and that you need to make sure the people side is okay. You know, is mom okay to nurse right now? And as my vitamin count has gone back up, my nursing aversion has lessened a lot. So that's been really nice. Because it was just, you know, when your body tells you, like, you just aren't going to breastfeed right this second, you're going to rebuild up your nutrients. That's been really important. So I got a bunch of questions on particular different stages of pregnancy and breastfeeding. Some women's milk dries up. Some women's milk turns to colostrum, which your child might not like the taste as much. It might be harder for them to get out. So we'll see. I'm just now edging towards, but not in yet. I'm still in my 2nd trimester, edging towards my 3rd trimester. My milk has, I would say, over the last 3 weeks or so, been turning into colostrum, I have been told. It's so funny to be breastfeeding somebody that can be like, hey, your milk's really sweet and thick. What's going on with that? And I was like, oh, it's colostrum. And so that gave us an opportunity to talk about what is colostrum versus breast milk, and, you know, how mothers make milk for different aged children and babies. So it was actually a good biology conversation that brought that up really naturally. So I don't know if I will breastfeed through the rest of this pregnancy or if he will take a break naturally or just wean totally and be done. But we're seeing he still wants his milk, but not very little, like a couple minutes, you know, in the morning, and then he's good. And I think that my milk has definitely changed in quantity and the quality as it switches over to colostrum. Okay, so another thing I got asked was, can you try to conceive? Can you try to get pregnant while breastfeeding? For most women, yes. If you have gotten your period back, you are more than likely ovulating, you can get pregnant. Many mothers accidentally get pregnant early on because they haven't gotten their period back. Their first time that they ovulate, they're still breastfeeding, they don't know it, and they think breastfeeding works like birth control. It really doesn't. Yeah, don't use breastfeeding as birth control. That's not what it is. It doesn't signal the hormones in your body, all that. Some women have a hard time conceiving while breastfeeding, but from the women I have talked to, most women don't. Once you're past a year of breastfeeding, I haven't heard a lot of bad stories of having to stop breastfeeding to get your cycles back. So yes, you absolutely can for most women. Of course, talk to a smart doctor that is informed about pregnancy, trying to conceive, and breastfeeding. A lot of doctors just don't know a lot about breastfeeding. They just are. It's not part of their education. They know a ton. They can save our lives. They're awesome. I'm so grateful for the healthcare community. They have saved my life at times with my asthma. But it doesn't mean they know everything. And so it can be really helpful and a great chance if you love your doctor, your GP or your OB, and they just aren't educated about it, you know, give them some information, give their nurse some information. Say, hey, I really love our relationship, but you've got to be on the same page with me on this. This is really important, you know, that our breastfeeding journey is important. And just voice that. My GP thinks I'm a Looney Tune. Like, why would you breastfeed past a year, crazy lady? But at some point they just go, okay, you know, everybody's healthy. Okay. So you just got to find healthcare workers that are at least willing to actually read about it and go, oh, there's a lot more to this than I thought. I'm back. My hair clip fell out or something. I don't know what my hair is doing. Crazy things. Oh my goodness. So when you hit your second trimester then and you're still wanting to breastfeed, that is where sometimes people's milk dries up. And it's totally okay to dry nurse if that's something you want to do, or to, you know, explain to your child, you know, we can pick back up when mommy's milk comes back in. Right now, I've just got to rest my body and I've got to grow your sibling, and be honest and use words that they can understand for their age, right? But it really does help children, instead of just going like, no more milk, this is all, you aren't getting it, and not explaining why, right? Children are very smart. They love being spoken to in intelligent ways that respects their intelligence and their thoughtfulness and their kindness. And they rise to the occasion so much if we give them that opportunity. So I really believe in being honest and age appropriate and biologically accurate when we talk to our children about things, because otherwise it really confuses them, you know? So it's totally okay to say in your second trimester, you know, your nursing aversion has kicked in, your milk has dried up, whatever it may be, that you need to take a break. And that will be hard. It'll be really emotionally hard for children, because if they're still nursing, you know, it's a great source of food and love and cuddle time for them. But being honest and truthful with them, and that includes even if you want to continue breastfeeding through your whole pregnancy or attempt to, just setting limits. They're healthy, understanding limits that lets them have kindness and empathy towards you as mama, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of times us moms feel pressured to just be total givers and, you know, set no good boundaries, and not have requests and demands for ourselves. And then we reach that tipping point or that breaking point, and then that's grumpy, mean mom, or, you know, we aren't setting healthy boundaries the whole way through. And I think that's really important. So if you need permission to give yourself that, set your boundaries, whatever that might be. That may be with your partner, about, you know, don't go near the bosom right now, it's sensitive. I hear from a lot of women that, like, this is a complaint when they're breastfeeding or pregnant and their partner wants to go anywhere near their chest. They're like, no, but they don't know how to say it, right? They don't know how to set that healthy boundary. It is totally okay to have limits. It is your body. Even during all of pregnancy and breastfeeding, it's still your body. have a way that fills you with joy and happiness for your pregnancy journey, right? I will do another video towards the end of my 3rd trimester, and I'll talk about how my breastfeeding went. I realize I'm in the great minority, still breastfeeding a now 6-year-old. And if you had asked me when I had my son if I was going to be nursing a 6-year-old, there was no way. I would have looked at women nursing a 6-year-old like, that's kind of weird. Oh, what's going on, you know? And it's just been such a gradual, natural weaning process that's just felt so natural. And it's been so not traumatic, you know? It's just been totally normal where, like, you know, sometimes I'll use the art of distraction, like, what about that cartoon or that toy? And then he just doesn't need the milk, or he's just not interested. And he still loves the cuddles and the comfort. And it's just wonderful to be able to have a respectful, loving relationship with your children where it's not a traumatic cutoff of something that gives them deep comfort or wonderful nutrition, right? And I think that that's a big part of gentle parenting in general, right? Is this idea of having just a wonderful growth with your children as they age up, where from the start you laid a foundation of respect and kindness, you know, and I think that that goes over into breastfeeding while pregnant as well. Let me check and see if I got any other questions. Okay, this is another one I got is, how do you prepare your nipples for breastfeeding? This is a question I've gotten a whole lot, actually. So I talked to his pediatrician years ago about this, and I talked to my doctors years ago about this. And some people say you can do, and I think I did a video on this maybe. YouTube might have made me take it down. But I remember doing a video on this. You can use a baby toothbrush that's very soft with a little bit of body oil or castor oil is what I prefer, and gently rub the nipples just a little bit. You want to be careful and not do that until the end of your 3rd trimester, because that can stimulate contractions. It doesn't normally, but it can. So you can do that to prepare your nipples. I wished that I had prepared my nipples for breastfeeding when I was pregnant with my son, because they were so sore. It hurt so much. It really did. It was just exceedingly painful. Like, I would cry. Breastfeeding hurt so much because I just have very sensitive chest, you know. So you can do that. And you can also just, when you start to breastfeed, you know, the first couple days, you can do little gentle warm packs on them. You can do a lot of lanolin. You can, once the colostrum finishes up and the breast milk comes in, then you can do breast milk that you allow to air dry on your nipples. You don't want to be too rough on your breasts trying to prepare them for breastfeeding, right? The most important thing you can do is make sure that you have a good latch, that if it does hurt a lot, that you do talk to a lactation consultant, you do talk to their pediatrician, and you just make sure that it's the best latch possible, with the understanding that breastfeeding can really hurt in the beginning. It really can. It can be very uncomfortable. Letdown of milk can be a really intense sensation. That 4th trimester, you know, the first 3 months after you give birth. And that's okay. Difficult things are still good to do. It doesn't have to be perfect. So there's small ways you can do to prep your breasts, but overall just take good care of your skin. You know, make sure you're putting lotions and body oils on. Make sure that you're having warm showers over your breasts in the last trimester, so that you aren't getting any clogged ducts as your milk, your colostrum starts to come in. So just, you know, take care of yourself. That's the best thing. There's no magic pill that makes it all easy, right? If there was any magic pill for any part of motherhood, everybody would be on it, right? You know? And I'll do another video probably when I first start breastfeeding again. Knock on wood, that all goes well. And I'll talk about kind of that breastfeeding for the 2nd time journey again, because I feel like some of the questions I got, I can answer about my first time breastfeeding, but it's been so many years that I kind of want to wait a couple more months until I give birth and then have a fresh, bright in my mind kind of take on it. Okay, biscuits. This has turned into a surprisingly long and ranty video, but it's a video I've been getting requests about pretty much since I did my pregnancy announcement on here. Because I know that the first videos I really started out with on this channel were all breastfeeding related. And I love breastfeeding content. The only reason I pulled back on that was the sheer amount of death and assault threat that I was getting. And that kind of made me pull back from talking about breastfeeding as much. I'm still a huge advocate for it in my personal life. to everybody I meet, all women and men. But definitely in the YouTube sphere, I kind of took a step back from it just because, you know, there's only so much abuse that one wants to subjugate oneself to willingly. Subject oneself to willingly. So I'm hoping over the last several years that the internet has gotten to be a gentler, kinder place. But I want to do this video regardless of that because it's something that I have gotten so many questions about and so much anxiety I hear from women about this. Of, oh, what do I do? You know, I'm so worried about this. How will this work? Should this hurt? Should this feel like this? What's letdown feel like? You know, what's the different trimesters like for breastfeeding? Am I the only one nursing, right? It can feel so isolating, especially this year of all years. So I wanted to come on and give my take. Okay, biscuits, I will see you in the next video, okay? If you are doing your holiday shopping, don't forget to click on over to my little merch shop, my little tiny shop that I link to right in the description box where I make all of my mug and t-shirt designs, and they are just so cozy and comfy for this time of year. If you are looking for something fabulous to gift, maybe just to yourself, click on over there. I'll see you in the next video. Love y'all, biscuits.